Welcome to my stock pick video. In this video, I will show you some of the stock my scanner picked out for potential long trade. Before I begin, I need to remind you that the contents in this video are for entertainment and educational purposes only. They are not investment advice. If you'd like to see more of this type of video from me, click the thumbs up to give it a like to let me know you like these videos. And to help me grow this channel, be sure to subscribe if you have not already subscribed. Now let's go and take a look at those stock picks. Looking at Broadcom here, Broadcom just recently came down and found support near this low volume area here. It came down from the high, got support and then bounced back up and then found resistance near the high here, and it came down once again and found support. And right now it appears that it's bouncing back up. Got a nice little pullback recently and seems to be bouncing off of this zone here, this low volume zone here, and it could be making its way back up toward these highs here and possibly come up and test the high, this all-time high. So we'll see what that happens. So right now, I'm basically just looking at the possibility of entering anywhere above this candle's high. Anywhere above 469.54. Okay, so today it actually closed above that. So maybe you're looking for a little bit of a pullback. Get near this 469.54 for entry, and the stop. One could put a stop below this candle's low. Below 460. But if you want to be a little bit more conservative, one could put a stop underneath this edge here, right? This high volume node, or this high volume zone, because the reasoning is if the price come back down and dip below this high volume node, then there's a good possibility that it could work itself back down to retest these low for support. Okay, so by that time you don't want to get caught in that. So you want to basically if it dip below these level here, somewhere around here, then we just say we're a little bit too early and the trade is not the right trade. This is Chin data. The ticker symbol is CD. You can see, it came down recently to this low here and bounced back up, encountered some resistance at this low volume zone. So right now it pulled back and formed a little bit of a double bottom pattern. And right now seems to be making its way back up to this low volume zone. So if it could get to this low volume zone, basically want to target the next move up to this area here, this edge of this high volume node, somewhere around 20. So basically looking at the possibility, although right now today it actually closed above this candle's high, this 1630. So if we get a little pullback toward this 1630, that might be a good location to look for a little bit of a long entry with a stop below this 1554 here, right? Essentially, right at this low volume zone. Okay, so if it get below this, dip below this low volume zone, then there's a good chance that it could work itself back down into these high volume areas. So again, we don't want to get caught in that. So that's why we want to put a stop underneath these low volume zone and play it for up here toward this low volume area. And here is that 1.5R and 2R here. So if we leave a runner when it get up there and let it, see could it get up to this 20 area. Okay, so that's one of the possible scenario. Here looking at a minor stock, Eldorado Gold, EGO, the ticker symbol EGO. You can see that, it came down to this zone quite a few times, this low volume zone, and got a nice support. Then the last time it came down here, kind of shook some of the last holdout of the longs and also snapped right back above it. So it kind of trapped some of the short here. And you see that it came up and came back down and back test this pivot, this breakout pivot, and then went up to this upper edge here, which there have been prior support and also prior resistance. So right now it seems to be pulling back from this resistance level and seems to be holding above this high volume node here and breaking out again. So we could play it back up to this 1233, back to this edge here, and see would it get above this zone and work itself up to the 1323. So once again, we essentially look for a entry above this candle's high somewhere around 1174, then put a stop beneath the low of this candle below the 1127, because it's also below this high volume node here. So essentially, if it dipped below this high volume node, then there's a good chance that it could work itself back down to this low volume zone. So want to make sure that we get out long before it come down, to test these level down here. And if it comes up, then we're basically targeting this 1233, and then the let the runner run up CC, could it get up to 1323? Because these are the 1.5R and 2R target. In phase energy, ENPH. So here again, it came down, found low support here at this low volume zone, this low volume edge, right? Bounced back up, to this high volume, little bit of a high volume area, and found resistance, came down, and then snapped right back up. So right now, it appears that it's breaking out of this high volume zone, and it could be working up toward this area and possibly come up and fill this gap, and also could possibly come up to this low volume zone. So what we're going to be watching is essentially for a possible entry above this high here, which would be 144.46. So we get a little bit of a pullback next week, down to this 144.46. Then one could look for entry long, and the stop will essentially be beneath this low here, below this 136.18, right? And we're basically targeting the 156.45 and 160.101. These are 1.5R and 2R. Then possibly, play it back up to this high volume, getting it back into the entry of this high volume zone, and see would it be able to run up, into this low volume area with a runner. This is Palo Alto Network, PANW is the ticker symbol. And you can see recently it came down, found a nice support here, and bounced right off, with a little bit of a double bottom, came up and got rejected at this low volume zone. Right, came down and put in a higher low. So essentially it came back and double test, basically back test this double bottom pivot, and got a nice bounce back up to this low volume zone again, and pull back. And this time it found a little bit of a support at this low volume zone, and right now it seems to be bouncing back up toward this zone here, this low volume zone. So essentially we're watching to see would it be able to get to this low volume zone and work up back toward the high here at up at the 400 level. So here's the parameters, right? We want to look for a possible long entry above the 362.63. See would it be pull back a little bit next week, although today it closed above that, and then put a stop beneath this low of the candle, essentially inside below this low volume zone. If price get below this low volume zone, there's a good chance that it come down and chop around inside of this high volume zone, and could work back down to this area here and possibly retest these low. We don't want to get caught on going down and test those level, holding a position. So that's why we want to put a stop right around this area here, and then we could target this zone here. So that would give us the 1.5R, and then let the runner go and see what it could be able to get up to the high, and that should give us a little bit over 2.5R or so. SABR Corp, SABR, that's the ticker symbol. And as you can see that recently it came down inside of this high volume zone, just came down and popped right back out. So it seems like it doesn't like to reestablish value inside of this high volume area, and instead it came up and tried to balance inside of this high volume area here, Okay, so right now it seems to be, maybe it found support inside this lower edge of this zone and could be working itself up to this upper edge of this high volume area. So we're basically looking for this to see would it be able to get a long entry above $14.14, anywhere above that when it pulls back a little bit next week, and put a low, put a stop underneath this 1379, essentially inside this low volume zone, because we don't want it to come back down and start chopping around in this area in this high volume node. And the target is essentially see would it be able to get back up into this zone here and see would it be able to move to this high volume node and possibly run it up to these high here somewhere around 16. This is a semiconductor stock silent. The ticker symbol is XLNX. You can see that it came down, found support at this low volume zone here. You see that it's kind of pulled back, found support, and came up and also found rejection at this low volume zone. Okay, so right now it came back down and popped up. So maybe looked like it want to come back and retest this low volume zone and see would it be able to get to and get up to this high volume area and see would it be able to reestablish itself, balance out and then move to. So right now, essentially, you're looking at this thing like a bull flag, right? So it seems like it's trying to break out of this flag here. So what we're going to be watching is this high here next week. If we could get through this high, then 129, you'll be looking for a long entry and possibly play it up to this low volume zone here at this edge. This would give us a 1.5 R here at 134, and here's the 2 R. So if we get a runner and if we could get to 2 R and possibly get back above this zone here, then we should get a little bit close to 3 R. All right, so they're putting a stop right beneath this 125.50. Essentially this low volume zone here. If it is below this low volume zone, then it could possibly come back in and chop around to this high volume area and come back and retest these lows. Those are some of the stock picks from my scanner. Not all of them will work out as I have described. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up to let me know you like to continue to watch these videos from me. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.